Creativity is not just for the artists, it's for everyone. You know, it's a tool for us to survive as a society. As a particular sort of profession as an artist, I go, what can I do? And then in my case, I create an object. Hi, I'm Masako. Today we're in a studio. My background is I'm a native of Japan, and I moved to United States when I was 18. And I came here for study abroad. I went to San Jose State University for the Master of Fine Arts degree. Then after that, I started to work and kind of kept making art. And it's just been the sort of journey that I just wanted to continue to make art. Yokai is in Japanese, and English translation is Shapeshifters. The literal translation will be sometimes like a bewitched ghost, or maybe more like a monstrous sort of images. They're characters in the folklores and also the mythologies in Japan. But I use them in a very different way in my work. I have a different conceptualized ideas for these shapeshifters to carry. The shapeshifters characters is something that I'm very intrigued by. Their characteristics, their existence in both animated and then inanimate. So their physical being is a necessary entity to carry the spiritual aspect of the character, and it's always both, and it's never either. They are considered as deities in Japanese animism. So I think that characteristic is quite unique. The first time I made yokai shapeshifter miniature sculpture, I was just excited about the ideas, and I just wanted to do the drawing of it. I also liked the idea about something very small at the time, and I was using wool felting, and this was my first time experimenting with the material, so it made sense to start very small. The first series of the shapeshifter I created was the back scratcher, and this is one of the shapeshifter group. We call it Tsukumogami, and that means deity of objects. And these are discarded objects by human, and these are the most mundane tools and objects. First time I showed my Shapeshifter series was at CULT Aimee Friberg Gallery. After I created the miniature series of felt sculptures, I began to enlarge the size and scale. And my miniatures are about like 5 to 10 inches. And then the next series became life size. And they're about anywhere from 4 feet to like 12 feet. So the nature of the process of this large scale, it's a lot of repetitive motions, and it takes a long time. It is a meditative process. You do many layers of it, and it looks a very simple process, but there's a lot of nuances involved. But it just takes a long time to needle felt. Like just to needle felt the surface like around maybe like 10 inches radius, it probably takes like maybe like an hour. It's a quite process, but I really enjoy the way the sculpture comes alive after I finish dressing them. Since I've been working on this public art project in Pure Pint Lane, I'm really thinking about like a meaning of making something so big and so large. Bronze can stay forever. We can be gone, but bronze will be there. So the idea about the permanence of these materialities, I also really start to think like, these are discarded objects. These are discarded because somebody made a judgment there's no value to these objects. And in the Japanese folklore, we have a narrative about it. These objects get together and they wanted to make revenge to humans, saying that, no, we're still important. We can still be useful. And, I think that's a message that I really wanted to portray. So in a traditional idea about public art, in the history context as well, that, these permanent statues are always about heroic figures. Somebody did, this heroic deed, or somebody who was important. But my sculptures are nobody who's considered as famous or important, but they are important. And I relate with this, our society, how we view the value of individual, and everyone is important in our societies. So the new series that I've created as a public art commission was for the Uber headquarters in Mission Bay in San Francisco. They wanted to celebrate the diversities and inclusiveness, and also the connectivities. I like the idea about having this space to sort of like a greeting spot, these sculptures greeting to the visitors. And this is also private commissions, but at the same time it's open to public. And I think the idea about park, in my concept, it's very similar to visiting shrines in Japan. Shrines in Japan we consider as they're housing these shapeshifters. That's what we understand. So it's like you visiting somebody's house. And I feel like the park can have that kind of quality, that you're visiting the neighborhood, and this is where you can actually kind of contemplate and reflect the moment in your life. And you can also share the time with your family or friends, and you feel welcomed. And when you feel welcome, you feel like you're part of the communities.
Masako Miki's yokai are an incredible gift to San Francisco. I'm so excited to observe and see and hear stories about people walking through the yokai. And these shapeshifters are opportunities for us to reflect on our humanity and our shared collective responsibility to each other.
In my work, I draw all the traditions of folklore and mythologies, but what I really want to do is to create the new mythologies for our time. I always intrigued by the idea of the semiologies. The French semiologist Roland Barthes, who talks about signifier and the signified, which I very much taken that idea in my work. I want my shapeshifters to be a signifier, which is the object that brings the meaning to the context. And what is signified in my work, I hope to create the idea of connectivity, diversity, and most of all the empathy. These characters live as a community, and these individual characters are unique and authentic, and they collaborate together. And I think that the collaboration and connectivity is the way we can only survive as a collective and society.